The cannon fires to confirm her death as her body goes limp. Whoever Lulu was, she's moved on. Her slight, starved frame lies quiet, finally beyond the capital's reach. I lean down and whisper in her bad ear, a personal message to the game makers. You did this to her. This is who you are. And then for Lulu, I say the things she no longer can. Murderers. In answer, the hovercraft appears, waiting for me to step aside so it can collect her body. Lulu won't be on the hill with me and Luella. They can't send back 2 bodies to District 12 without exposing their incompetence. So where will you go, little girl? Back to 11? Into capital soil? Or will they incinerate your body and leave no trace of you behind? Either way, mine will be the last touch of someone who cares about you. The thought of capital hands disposing of her infuriates me. Unlike my Luella, I cannot give her up without a fight. I lift her into my arms and head to the arena with the densest trees I can spot. Are they showing me to the audience? Can they witness my refusal to hand over Lulu? Do I have the capital viewers glued to their screen? The rascal's run off with his district partner. Again. The rascal will make the game makers chase him down. Delighted laughter, phone calls to friends. Are you watching this? Lulu's body, noticeably lighter than Luella's. The ferocity that gave her weight has vanished. I locate a clump of willows and hunker down at the centre, catching glimpses of the hovercraft overhead. The claw descends, tangles in the treetops, withdraws, and makes a second attempt. They can't reach us. For the moment, she's safe. As my breathing calms, I realise I'm playing right into Snow's hand. This is exactly the behaviour I've been forbidden to engage in, and there will be repercussions. Deadly ones. Soon. And I will have lost my chance to blow up the tank. How to salvage this moment? Take Lulu out and give them a rascally just kidding wave. Set her down and run and hide. Just stay put and wait for the claw to break through and then hopefully place her in its jaws. Indecision immobilises me. The game makers seem immobilised as well. The hovercraft remains static, claws retracted. A standoff. We're waiting each other out. It will be peaceful if not for the looming sense of danger. It comes in the form of a brilliant blue butterfly, almost the same electric blue of District 3's outfits. It navigates the willow tree branches and lands on a nearby bough. I can't seem to tear my eyes from the pattern of tiny golden lightning bolts decorating its wings. Then another lands over my head, and a third on the back of the hand that cradles Lulu's blood-streaked face. As if in slow motion, its stinger descends. A tiny spark jumps off my flesh as it makes contact, and a jolt of pain blinds me. An involuntary scream parts my lips. Lulu has tumbled into the ground. My vision returns in time to see a second butterfly come to my face. My cheek explodes with what I can now recognise as an electric shock. As for the butterflies, as if the butterflies have mini tasers in their stingers. One of Snow's beauties. Raw panic consumes me. All I know is I never want to be stung again. I burst out of the willow bower, leaving Lulu to the game makers. Hundreds of butterflies dotting the trees come to life and target me. I sprint into the woods, oblivious to all but escape, but they swarm after me. Not with the drunken motion I associate with butterflies back home, but in a straight line. I'm bobbing and weaving, trying to evade them, but they keep landing stings, each one momentarily freezing me. It isn't enough to have left Lulu. These things are bent on torturing me. This is about punishment, as public as possible. I'm not really sure how long this goes on. It seems endless, like I'm losing my sanity. But I fall face first into a berm of flowers. Afraid of Lulu's fate, I spring up, toppling into a heap beside the berm, frantically wiping my face. But it's not the bee balm, it's the gas plants. As a cloud of butterflies descends, I get an idea. After retrieving my flint striker and rock from my pocket, I start making some sparks of my own, sending showers of them into the blossoms. 5-foot flames erupt off the plants, engulfing the butterflies and lapping at my chest before disappearing. My shirt front glows for a few moments like a bed of coals, then returns to black, apparently fireproof. A few crispy skeletons float down, but the attack has ended. The stragglers loopily fly away, the picture of innocence. I lie gasping on the ground, examining my body for wounds. There's absolutely nothing. Not a blister or a scratch. Only the memory of the terrible pain. I press my lips to the flint striker, hoping Lenore Dove sees me. Knows that this is a thank you to her for saving me from the mutts. The mutts? This is it. This is my chance to follow them to their burn. However, I don't jump up. The recent attack has zapped some sense from me. For once in your life, be smart, I think. Do this, but do not jeopardise the arena plan. Why would I possibly be chasing mutt butterflies? Only one answer. Retaliation. A nearby branch caught fire, but when the gas plants blazed. I break it off from the tree and shake off the general direction of the butterflies. When I catch a glimpse of blue, I know I'm on the right course. Another 20 yards of charging through the woods brings me to a berm covered in flowering bushes. It has slid open as if on tracks, leaving a 6-foot wide gulf right down to the middle of the circle. The butterflies make their lazy way into it. For the benefit of the game makers, I rage at them, swinging my torch around madly, incinerating a half dozen or so when I notice the berm beginning to slide closed. As if in a last-ditch effort, I lunge at the final bar and succeed in wedging the branch between the lips of the hatch. It clamps shut, crossing the wood, but leaving an 8-inch opening in the seam. I pretend not to notice and thump against the berm. The sign reads, Butterfly Bush. Well, I won't forget that one. I think about going back to look for Lulu, but I know she's long gone. Instead, I make my way back to the bee barn, careful not to inhale too deeply, and collect my things. Still no sign of anyone else. My skin may be as smooth as a baby's behind, but I'm twitchy from the multiple shocks and done for the day. I've achieved my 2 tasks, though, making fire and finding a mutt berm. The shadows are growing long, which means I need to start searching for somewhere to sleep. Conscious that my piss-poor hiding place from last night must be improved upon, I'm not dizzy now, so I pick a sizable tree with thick foliage near the butterfly bush and climb about 30 feet into the branches. I pitch my hammock between 2 sturdy limbs, making sure that if one side gives way, it'll have a fork to catch me. This wasn't recommended in the class, but I don't feel secure enough to sleep on ground level again. Famished, I eat 3 eggs and a couple of apples. Surely sponsors will enable my mentors to replenish my pantry soon. Though the trees and the sunset glows golden, the orange of the burning coal before fading out, leaving me in darkness. As the sound of the anthem, I position myself to get a clear view of the sky. The first tribute, Morse Not Green, the boy from District 1 who isn't Panache. Then Lulu, pictured with her snake. I wonder if anyone in Panam, a family member or playmate, recognises her for who she really is. The McCoys must know she's a fake. Surely they do. Right now, they must be weeping and wondering where their own darling girl has gone. At least that's one terrible conversation I've been spared. 5 careers gone, 17 newcomers. 26 of us left. The woods quiet down. A clear yellow moonlight filters through the trees. Honestly, I think I'm the only one on this side of the arena, but you never know. I wonder how Maisley's doing. There's just 2 of us left from 12 now, and if there's any chance I might see her again. Funny, missing Maisley Jonna, but there it is. Grateful I don't snore, I let myself fall into a dreamless sleep. Something startles me awake, and I see a parachute with a good-sized bundle caught in the sunlit branches above my head. My first sponsor's gift. I untangle it, set it on my lap and take a deep breath. Right now, it could hold anything. Then I open it. A dozen white rolls still warm from the oven, a block of orange cheese, and what looks like a bottle of wine, complete with its own stemmed glass goblet. It actually coaches the smell from me. I uncork the bottle and take a sniff. Grape juice. Bet this cost someone a pretty penny. Water would have been more sensible, since I'm about through my first gallon, but I'm not complaining. Grape juice is a big treat back home, reserved for birthdays and wedding punch. Who sent it? The lady with the cat ears? The man I spit on? Great Aunt Messalina? Right now I don't even care. I tip the bottle over the elegant glass, admiring it as the juice fills the stem and then the bowl, giving the audience a knowing grin. I raise it in toast and say, "Thank you, my fellow rascals from the capital." and then I take a slow sip, easing my parched mouth. It's so full of goodness, but not just the taste, but the happy memories it conjures up, that I have to keep myself from gulping it down. Accompanied by a couple of fresh rolls and a chunk of fatty cheese, it restores me enough to face the day. While I breakfast, I review why, from the capital sponsor's perspective, I think I've earned this expensive gift. I evaded the bloodbath with weapons and supplies. I survived poisoning. I made fire, cooked food, torched some butterflies, and found a tree to sleep in. Conclusion: I'm fairly resourceful and clearly selfish enough to win. I'm worried that the districts have a low opinion of me for abandoning the newcomers. Trying to save Lulu might help, but if I blow up the arena, I guess I'll still be welcome in 12 again. Not that going home is a possibility. Still, I want Sid to be able to hold up his head and not be ashamed of me forever. Since I've made camp near the burn, there's no point in travelling anywhere. Nothing to do but wait for Ampert to arrive with his token fuse and the District 9 sunflower explosive. I'm pretty worn out from days 1 and 2 from the games, so I hang out in my hammock, keeping an eye out for butterflies. By early afternoon, I begin to get restless. We should have worked out a better rendezvous plan. I keep wanting to say rendezvous. I do, but I know that that's not right. The woods are deep and wide, and we could easily miss each other. Far north could still be miles away. Something to remember when I get down in that tunnel. I might still have a long way to go before I reach the tent. I decide to go and look for Ampert. As I pack up my supplies, carefully wrapping my goblet around the hammock, I come across the binoculars and try them out. That inspires me to climb higher and get a better sense of the lay of the land. Near the tippy top of the tree, which towers over most, I can see a great distance. I'm again struck by the beauty of the place. The idyllic woods, the uniform sweep of meadow and snow-capped peak, which now sits under the arch of a shimmering rainbow. I judge the mountain to be about 5 or 6 miles away. That's where the rest of the kids are, presumably hunting one another down. So different from here, where I'm purely up against the game makers. The sea of trees continues behind me, but seems to narrow to a point in the distance. Kind of impossible to tell exactly how far away that is, since everything starts to look a little blurry. Does that indicate the end of the arena? I twist back round to view the meadow again and catch sight of a bit of electric blue near the cornucopia, moving towards the woods. Ampert? Worried I will miss him amongst the trees, I climb down and head for the meadow, hoping to intercept him. Along the way, I cut small, discreet notches in the bases of trees with knives, leaving my markers for return. Backtracking takes me further from my target, but I'll need Ampert with me, one way or another. When I reach the tree line, I climb into a rock and survey the meadow through my binoculars. It's Ampert, all right, about a mile away, tromping towards me. The expression on his face, so sad and grim, forged by the last few horrific days, reminds me that I've had it easier than most. Around his neck, I spy 2 sunflower tokens, one stained with blood. At least he's been spared watching his own district mate's death, since none have appeared in the sky. I bet he hasn't had much to eat, and I'll need him on his toes for the tank bombing. Should I make him some sandwiches? Wait a minute. Once again, what am I doing? Why has the rascal, after running away from the newcomers, caught sight of Ampert and returned to the edge of the woods? This is different from Lulu. She found me. My behaviours sure seem suspicious, like I've been waiting for him the whole time. I don't think this will matter to the audience, but what are the game makers going to make of it? I told them I was only out for myself. What could have drawn me back to Ampert? The answer can't be the explosives, or it would extend my survival. I've got my own food and water, and charcoal tablets and weapons. What can Ampert offer me? The one thing I don't have much of is information. I know who's dead, but who killed them and how. What weapons arm the careers? Have they discovered anything to eat and drink in here that isn't poisonous? Except for Lulu, I've been alone. That wasn't exactly a wealth of information. Okay then, this rascal wants an update. Cocky, out for myself, sarcastic, nice to the other newcomers. I'm channeling all of these things so I can present a consistent character to the audience, but when Ampert arrives, he throws his arms around me and I'll just hug him back and say, hey buddy. I'm surprised by how small he feels, because he's such a take charge kind of kid. He's only about the but he's only about Sid's size and plenty scared. Even for the brightest brain, can't think its way out of being trapped in the arena. The newcomers need you back. They sent me to come and find you. Good, that's why the game makers will think he's here. We talked about this. My scoring a 1 makes me dangerous to be around, I say for the audience's benefit. I don't want my gifts to dry up because I'm shirking my newcomer's duties. Also, Sid needs to hear my motive for ditching them. Lulu ran off, then we saw her in the sky. Case in point, I say, stepping back from him. She found me and she's dead now. We didn't see the poison flowers coming. Are those poison too? He asks. At least the bee balm. The gas plants came in handy when I needed to barbecue some butterfly mutts. The game makers sent those after me. You hungry? He nods vigorously. How about a trade? Some lunch for a mountain update? I spread out a big picnic on the rock. Rolls, cheese, eggs, apples, and a 1 glass of grape juice for him. I don't interrupt as he wolfs the food down. Pretty sure he hasn't eaten much in here. He doesn't even have a pack of supplies, just an axe in his belt and a sun hat made of leaves. When he finishes, he wipes his mouth and sighs. I wish I could have shared that with the others. The courier's got most of the food. How are you guys holding up, I ask. It's tough. We lost 17 now. All but Lulu at the bloodbath. Nobody got poisoned? Oh, several of us did, but Willie figured out about everything being poisonous also almost immediately. And Hull's pack had a big bottle of syrup antidote. None of us died from the poison. Syrup? I had these. I pulled out the tablets and showed him, else I'd have been gone too. Oh, I said syrup, and my phone thought I called her. I was like, what? Anyway, must have been bad. No one to look after you. I shrug. Then I have to ask. Wyatt? Ampert reaches into his pocket and passes me Wyatt's token. Panache killed him, and 5 others. With a sword. Marit's wicked with the trident. Silky used an axe. It's sharp as a razor. And I saw... His voice chokes off. I get the picture. Maiselie's okay though, right? I don't know. She got separated from us in the bloodbath. Haven't seen her in the sky, though. I'm guessing she's still on the mountain, same as the rest of the newcomers. We've been trying to stick together like we planned. The careers followed us there. A despicable thought crosses my mind, that Maiselie is somehow joined up with the careers. And I remember how combative she was with Silka at that first encounter and feel ashamed of myself. I examined the necklace she wove so securely to carry Wyatt's script coin. She spent most of her training hours helping the newcomers display their tokens with pride, when she could have been learning skills to protect herself. Whatever else she may be, Maiselie Donner is not a turncoat. I tell Ampert, wherever she is, she's making trouble for the careers. You can count on that. When I hook Wyatt's token around my neck, it's like having both him and Maiselie with me. For a while, Ampert and I sit there, letting the breeze call us, staring at the ridiculously pretty flower-scented meadows, listening to the songbirds. I pour another glass of juice, which we pass between us. Every sense is being catered to, every element designed to soothe. We're cocooned in soft pleasures as we face our deaths. So you won't come back? Ampert asks. It wouldn't help. I'm a mutt magnet, and clearly no judge of flowers. Can you show me around the woods at least? We need to get off the mountain, but no one knows if it's worse here. If that's what you want, but I can't promise to keep you safe from the game makers. Ampert laughs a bit. What a funny thing to say. Who could? When we finish the juice, I lead him over into the woods. My giving him the tour is the perfect cover story, really. Not that he gets much information besides, watch out for the stream, it's poisonous. And the fruit, and those flowers are too. Basically, I could have just said everything's poisonous and left it at that, but I played the guy, shown him the berms of the bee balm and the gas plants, saving the butterfly bush for last. This is where the butterflies went, the one I didn't burn to the crisps. The ones I didn't burn to a crisp. I see him either branch, but he only says, do you think it's safe to be near their home? Home. He calls it their home. Is it because he misses his own so much? 12 years old, barely 5 feet tall. His voice still hasn't even changed. If I'm homesick, what must it be like for him? Well, I don't really think anybody much is at home, I say. There aren't many left, no more than what we can handle, and they don't kill you when they sting, they just give you a nasty shock. I had dozens and I'm fine, so it's probably safer than a lot of places since they tend to space the mutts out. Do they? Maybe, but at least it explains why we should hang around the burn. Could I rest here a bit, do you think? I look at his puffy eyes. Sure, I don't really have any plans this afternoon. I make him a bed out of my hammock. Oh my goodness. I make him a bed out of my hammock and he tosses a bit, then drifts off to sleep. Looking at him, I can't help thinking that all the little ones seem to end up with me. Luella, Lulu, Amber. I can't keep a one of them safe. Why do they flock to me? When Ampert settled into a deep slumber, I begin my preparations for the bombing. Gathering double the wood and pine needles I did yesterday. This will be a nighttime job, and the fire's my responsibility, both for illumination and ignition. Since my butterfly's torch held up pretty well, I make sure and break off a few more branches from what I judge to be the same kind of tree, not wanting to waste my fuel. I set up the fire first, but hold off on lighting it. No potatoes tonight. I'll leave them for Ampert, who stands a better chance of surviving our mission. If I do this thing right, blow open the tank and set off a flood, likely it will take me out. 6 feet of fuse does not allow much for an escape window. If the explosion doesn't finish me off, surely the water will. I console myself with the thought that either of those deaths will be far kinder than anything the capital will devise for me, if I somehow make it out of sub-A alive. Hoping for something better could be dangerous. It could blind me to the reality of my situation. I remember how Mormor always said, where there's life, there's hope. But from where I'm sitting, hope seems a lot like white liquor. It can fool you into the short run, but like it as not, you'll end up paying for it twice.